The iron gate slams shut behind you. The vibration jars your teeth. Above the arena's roar is a physical weight tasting of dust, sweat, and iron. You are in Rome circa 80 AD. And you are about to learn what gladiators did to captive women, a fate considered worse than death. A guard shoves you hard. You stumble on the damp stone. The torchlight is oily, casting shadows that rise on the walls. You are not being marched on to the sand. You are being herded beneath it. You keep your fists clenched. The single smooth river stone from your homeland cutting into your palm. Cold ballast against the suffocating heat of the tunnels. You and the other survivors are not being led to the arena. You are being processed for the Ludus, the Gladiators' barracks. Why were you spared the midday executions, only to be delivered to the men who worship the blade? What life awaits in this lightless world that could be worse than a public end? The arena promised a quick death. These tunnels offer none. We are venturing into a darkness others are afraid to see. Subscribe to walk this path with us. Hit the bell. Let it be your signal when we unseal the next forbidden chapter. And now, back to the story. The sound of the arena crowd fades, replaced by a new rhythm. The third is wooden. Rudy's striking a pose, to scrape of a grindstone on steel, to guttural shouts of trainers. They are marched from the damp tunnels into the cold open air of a courtyard. This is the Ludus, the gladiator school, a fortress of discipline and death. The captive women are pushed into a stone cell. The floor is wet. They wait for hours in the dark. The cold seeps in, a stark contrast to the arena's heat. Finally, the door opens. A man enters, not a soldier, but an administrator. The Lannisters' bookkeeper. He carries a wax tablet and a stylus. He holds a lantern high. His face was etched in shadow. He does not ask their names. He smells of sour wine and ink. He walks the line, inspecting them like livestock. He grabs one woman's chin, forcing her mouth open to check her teeth. He points one. He moves to the next two. He is taking inventory. The woman with the river stone keeps her head down, but her eyes are clear. She watches the man's hands. She watches the two guards at the door. She counts the paces of the cell. As the man approaches, she shifts the cold stone from her fist into the rags of her waistband, a small hidden weight. He stops at her. He looks at her, not her face, but her hands, her shoulders, and her height. He assesses her strength. He makes a sharp-coated mark on the wax tablet. Kay does the same to 3 others. The rest of the women are chained together in a line. The man jerks his thumb toward the door. The guards herd them out back toward the tunnels. Their fate is the public market, the sulfur mines, or the lupins, the brothels built into the arena's foundations. But separation was not mercy. It was selection. The woman with the stone and the other chosen few remain. They have been spared the market. The door bolts? They are alone again, but their status has changed. Hours later, an older, scarred servant enters. He carries no weapons, only a stack of rough, dun-colored tunics. He throws them on the floor. He says nothing, just points. They are to change. This is the price of their mercy. They are not destined for public sale. They now belong to the Ludus itself. They will wash the fighters' bloody gear. They will clean the cells. They will serve the prima spada, the champion gladiators. They are no longer people. They are tools, privileges, and comforts meant to keep the Ludus most valuable. Volatile assets are manageable. The woman pulls the rough wool over her head. It smells of lye and old sweat. The stone is a cold knot against her stomach. She has been saved from the public hell, only to be locked inside a private one. They were not prisoners of Rome. They were prizes for Rome's prisoners. The Ludus is a machine, and the Lannister is its engineer. He is the owner, trainer, and master. He summons the chosen women not to the cells, but to his private office. It smells of cedar, wax, and oiled leather. He is a man of precise, cold calculation. He does not shout, he explains. "You are not servants," he states, looking at a ledger. "Servants are cheap. You are investments." He explains the condition. The Ludus is a powder keg. Its champions, the prima poli, are worth more than a senator's villa. They are violent, unstable, and superstitious. They need stabilizing influences. The women are to be given as contubernia, official companions or barracks wives. This is the ultimate mercy he offered. They will share the champion's private quarters, their food, and their status. They will be protected. They will be safe from the guards, the lower-ranked fighters, and the market. This is the hidden price. They will no longer be Dacian. They will be the property of a single man. A living reward to ensure his loyalty, to keep his mind off rebellion and focused on the sand. The Lannister singles out the woman with the river stone. Her defiance is a tangible thing in the room. "You," he says, "are 4 Windex. The goal, our champion. It is a great honor. He has asked for you." She stands still. The room is silent, save for the scrape of his stylus. She looks past the Lannister at the wall, at the map of the Empire. Her home is a smear of ink in the corner. She speaks. Her voice is a dry rasp. "I serve no one." The Lannister does not get angry. He leans back. "Serve? No. You will belong, or you will be forgotten." The escalation begins. It is not violent, it is administrative. She is not beaten, she is moved. The other women, heads bowed, except the tunics, the oils, and the braids. They are led to the champion's wing. The woman is taken to the cellar, austere, the gatekeeper's box. It is a stone niche carved into the main entrance of the Ludus. 'Tis not a dungeon cell. It is a display case, the soft pressure, deprivation. She is given water and just enough stale bread to survive. The gate is a constant thunder of iron and wood. Guards march past fighters slick with sweat and blood from practice stream by ignoring her. She is in the center of the world, yet utterly alone. They intended this to break her, to force her to see the comforts. The other women now have the warm food, the clean rooms, the protection of their masters. She is visible to all, yet seen by none. The deprivation hardens. The bread becomes less frequent. The nights are ice. The Lannister intended the solitude and the public shame to erode her will. He miscalculated. He did not understand her. The cell was stone. Her homeland was stone. The hunger was a fast. Her people fasted. The silence was a vow. The Lannister thought he was locking her in a prison. Instead, he had given her a temple. The cold, smooth river stone in her hand is her only scripture. The isolation that was meant to be her punishment becomes her armor. She is no longer just a captive. She is a witness. The why was now clear. The women were not just bodies. They were psychological tools. Human shields against the gladiator's own rage. The price of their mercy was their soul. But the price of refusal was not death. It was erasure. The champion Windex walks past her cell every day. He stops. He watches her through the bars. She watches him back. She refused the master. But what happens when the monster decides he will not be refused? The Gaul Windex stops at her cell. He does this every evening. A massive scarred silhouette against the torchlight. The guards stay clear. He is the Louis's greatest asset. One night, he does not just look. He speaks to the gatekeeper. A key grinds in the lock. She stands. The stone is a cold weight in her hand. This is it. The end. He does not lead her to his quarters. He doesn't touch her. He gestures with his head. A silent command walk. He leads her away from the polished champion's wing, past the roaring forge of the armory. He takes her deep into the foundations of the Ludus, to a subterranean storage cellar. It smells of damp earth, old wine, and mold. It is lit by a single guttering oil lamp. He is not a monster. He is a man who, like her, has had his name stolen and replaced with one that means champion. He walks to the far wall, a section of rough, mortared stone. He levers a large, flat rock from its place. Behind it is a dark, hollow cavity. This wasn't just a place to hide wine. This was a library of the lost inside. Resting on a bed of dry moss are dozens of small, humble objects. A piece of wood carved into the shape of a boar, a braided loop of bright horsehair, a tarnished silver disc marked with a crescent, a shard of blue glass worn smooth by a foreign sea. Windex reaches in and touches the small boar. He looks at her. He cannot speak her language. He does not need to. This is the wordless rite. This is where we remember. The hidden truth was not one of violence, but of conspiracy. The Lannister thought he managed his fighters with rewards, but the fighters and the captive women assigned to them were building a silent, invisible world beneath his feet. They were not master and slave. They were fellow prisoners, preserving the names and gods that Rome had tried to grind into dust. Archaeological finds confirm this. In 2003, an excavation beneath the Gladiator barracks at Centum, Austria, uncovered small hidden caches within the walls of the living quarters, spaces just large enough for personal non-Roman items concealed from official view. The Dacian woman looks at the collection. She sees the river stone in her own palm. It is not just her ballast anymore. It is a word, a name. She steps forward. Windex watches as she places her stone into the hollow, setting it carefully between the Thracian disc and the Gallic boar. He slides the heavy rock back into place. The wall is seamless. Her identity is safe. She has been locked in a cell to be forgotten. But in the deepest dark, she has finally been seen. They had found a way to save their souls. But what good was a soul when the body was still in the cage? The Ludus was a business, and, like any Roman business, it ran on records, wax tablets for the daily schedule, and papyrus ledgers for the profit and loss. We have surviving lists of fighters, the latter coolly detailing their victories, their specialties, the price of their feed, and the cost of their medical care. History is written in this ink, but it is also written in the gaps, the places where the ink suddenly stops. In the Lannisters' private ledger, the entry for Windex. The goal is clean. A string of victories noted in precise red ink. Then nothing. The line is blank. There is no record of a final match in the arena. No note of sale to another Ludus. No mention of a burial plot. It is a calculated void. It is as if the ink itself were forbidden. And the Dacian woman. She was never given a name in the books at all. She was just a number, a logistical asset tied to the champion's morale. When he vanished from the ledger, she vanished with him. The seller asked. The gatekeeper cell is simply listed as empty, ready for sanitation. This is the second death. The cold administrative erasure. There are no first-hand accounts from the barracks. The voices of the captives and the champions are silent. There are only whispers found in the margins of other, more important histories. A single fragmented letter from a wine merchant visiting the Ludus mentions significant trouble with the Gallic champion and a subsequent costly purging of the barracks inventory. But the details are lost. The papyrus is torn. The Lannisters' response is unrecorded. The official narrative holds the subterranean cellar, the one used as a hidden shrine. It does not appear on any known floor plan. It was likely deemed structurally unsound or simply inconvenient. During the barracks' next renovation, it was filled with rubble, lime, and sand and sealed. A new floor of concrete and tile was laid on top. A clean, practical surface for a new generation of fighters buried beneath it. The carved boar, the Thracian disc, and the river stone were entombed. The grate slams shut, not of iron, but of time. It seals them beneath the new foundations of the empire. Under layers of pavement and progress, the roar of the arena crowd is long gone, replaced now by the dry whisper of wind moving through the ruins. The great Colosseum stands as a testament to the victors. The Ludus is forgotten dust. But the stones remain. The small, smooth river stone is still there. In the absolute dark, waiting, a cold, hard ballast against the crushing final weight of silence. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. How long must a stone wait in the dark to be seen again?